long-established traditions and required service should be changed because of my feelings. But my feels. On today's episode of Kpop Rantz.
Do you feel the vibes?
All right, everybody. So today we're going to talk about a topic that's sort of been coming and going. It's sort of been like ebbing and flowing in the news cycle. And I decided to finally talk about it because somebody who doesn't want to be shouted out, Night Terrors! Sorry, I had to shout you out extra because you didn't want to. Don't tell me not to do something, bro. I'm gonna do it. But he suggested to this in a question I put out to my subscribers saying, hey, give me a video idea and I'll talk about it right now with no prep because that's what I do, because that would require actual work. So here we are. So based on my understanding of this whole situation, BTS Army, you at it again. Army at it again. They're trying to, I'm sure, I think I heard that they petitioned the government, but I know that they're trying to get BTS out of serving the mandatory military service in South Korea. So if you don't know, military service for men in South Korea is mandatory at a certain point in life, and I believe it lasts 22 months. Obviously, if you don't know anything about like geopolitical, happenings, North Korea bad, South Korea good. North Korea have weapons. South Korea have weapons. North Korea want to destroy South Korea. So they have to have a standing military. It's very much like how Israel is. They have mandatory military requirements, except they have them for both males and females. And I don't know the length of service there, but obviously for obvious reasons, they have, everybody has to be on ready all the time for obvious reasons we won't go into. But it begs the question, is it okay for fans, and I know it's probably both Korean fans and international fans that think and believe for a myriad of probably really stupid reasons that BTS and their members should be exempt from military service. Now, I'm sure their fear is founded because a lot of the groups that end up having this happen to them will lose that momentum that they've built, and then they have a hard time recovering from it once the members do return. I think there will be an exception for a group like Big Bang just because they're legends. And I think that there will be an exception for BTS because their fan base is just rabid. I think in 22 months, if they did a comeback with all 5 of the members, or sorry, all 7 of the members, it would just be insane. But that's just my opinion. But should they be exempt? Absolutely not. Okay, now this is, you have a country and you have pride in that country. Like that sort of nationalistic pride is sort of lost here in the West for a lot of people. So there's a lot of the younger generation, especially, that just don't get this because they're told, hey, that's evil, that's wrong, you shouldn't love your country for a myriad of reasons, which, I'm not trying to be political, but we won't go into that, but you know what I'm talking about. And whatever side of the fence you fall on, that's cool. Whatever you want to believe is fine. But they take that mentality, is all I'm saying, into this discussion. And I don't know if they're seeing it, at least international fans, from the Korean perspective, because it's part of your duty is to serve in the army. I mean, obviously, a lot of people probably don't want to because it does interrupt their lives. And especially if you're like rich and famous and celebrity, and now you got to go to the military and be under somebody's boot for 22 months, that's got to be unusual. So I'm sure they don't always want to. But, I mean, Korea is a homogenized society, and it is a requirement, I think, for citizenship. So I think you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but people that go there and try to apply for citizenship, if you get citizenship, you are then required to serve time in the military, I believe, which I think you should, if that's the requirement, because you're going to that country. These are their laws. You respect those laws. That's how it works. You go to another country, whatever that country is, or you come here, and I believe that you should try to acclimate to whatever the cultural norms and and laws and requirements are. Now, I'm not saying you lose your culture when you go over there, when you come here. Like, you still maintain all that. That's what makes a place like America great, is the diversity. But you have to be able to conform to the culture at large. You can't just alienate yourself, especially if you go to a place like, that's so culturally homogenous like South Korea. You try to be like that there, you're just going to be ostracized. You have to try to fit in, and you most likely will, because the social pressures will force you to in many ways. Now, let's look at the other side of the argument. I don't really know the exact reasons why the Army is pushing for this, and I'm sure there's lots of Army that are like, no, that's stupid, they should do it, or we agree with the fact that they have to do it because it's their service. The Army is such a big fandom. In my experience, there's a lot of really cool people and a lot of really dumbasses, and that's just the way it is, especially when you have such a large group of people. It's inevitable. So I'm not generalizing the whole Army. I'm just talking general for the point of this video, so it's not confusing. But I'm sure that if you look at it from the other side, these kids that don't, it's probably kids and teenagers, right? They don't really have a grasp on how world really works yet, or whatever the case is. So they're looking at it from that perspective, like BTS is their whole life at this point. Like maybe they've found their identity in BTS, and it's sort of, what drives them as a person at this point in life. I remember being like that about stuff when I was a kid, and always trying to find who I was. And I mean, shit, for like 2 years, I walked around in a cowboy hat with cowboy boots and a dumbass leather wrist strap. I look stupid as fuck. But I was trying to find something to identify with, and I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time, right? It's just stupid shit you do when you're a teenager. So they're doing this, and the thought of them losing a member of BTS and the band not being the group not being together anymore probably is like just rocking their whole world. So from that perspective, I understand it. But if you're watching this and you don't think that they should have to serve military service, I'm honestly curious as to why. Like, what is the reasoning? Can you put in the comments below what that reason is, or what your own individual reason is? Because I really want to know. And I bet a lot of the other people in the comments would like to know too, because I have some pretty devout subscribers that comment on everything, and they read everybody's comments. And I know that they're interested in that aspect of YouTube, as I am, because the comments are, the community. That's how we talk to each other. So yeah, but I'm curious what you guys think overall. What is your thoughts on this? Do you think BTS should be exempt, or anybody who's just because they're famous, they get special treatment and get exempt? Or do you think that everybody, no matter what, should have to serve? You guys know where I stand. I think you should have to serve. If they made it mandatory in this country, like they instituted like a draft or something like that, you should go, because that's what it's required of you. Whether you like it or not, it sucks. I think it would suck. I wouldn't want to go, right? I'm fat. They would kick my ass in boot camp. But I would go because my country has called me to do so. But what are your thoughts on all this? I mean, this sort of dips our toe in some little political stuff, which I try to stay away from on this channel, because it's supposed to be about K-pop, but it's still a valid argument either way for this topic. So let me know in the comments below if you guys like what you see and you want to see more. Click one of the 2 links that's going to pop up. And as always, keep on popping, K-poppers. Remember, it's not a trend. It's a lifestyle. Deuces.
Do you feel the vibes?